Welcome to Trenton Today here on WBCB. We are coming to you from Trenton Central High School, and we're joined by Mayor Reed Gusciora once a month, and we hear all about what's happening in Trenton. We also have some of the Trenton Central High School students with us. We got Romeo Romo and Renee Hemmings. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Hello.
How's it
Good
going?
morning.
Good morning indeed.
Now, do people call you Roro or?
Sometimes they call me Rome, sometimes they call me just my name, and sometimes they call me Romo.
Okay, all right.
Well, it is great to have you guys with us. And when we were here last time at Trenton Central High School, we were going to hear about some of the summer programs, and we said, let's put that off until next time we get together. So we want to hear about the public pools, some of the summer camps that are happening in the city of Trenton. But first, I'd like to send out our deepest condolences to the friends and the family of all of the victims of the recent Texas school shooting. And I don't want to just stop with that particular incident. Also want to send out our heartfelt feelings to all of the victims of gun violence. And that's one of the topics that we want to talk about a little bit here. We're here at a public school in America, and I think we would not be doing our job if we didn't talk a little bit about what was happening there, what can be done, what types of legislative initiatives we'd like to see happen. Maybe we can dream a little bit about what we would like the world to look like in regards to firearms in America. And again, I think first we want to just express our sentiments and our sadness, our shared sorrow, and at this terrible another terrible tragedy.
Yeah, I think it's horrific when you see it, and then particularly when you see the pictures of children splashed on the front pages, and rightfully so, because it's a discussion that people express their outrage, and then they give thoughts and prayers, and then it goes right back to normalcy, and then the pattern repeats again. But the Congress really needs to step up to the plate. The fact that 50 senators are holding things up that they don't think that there should be anything more than the status quo is just shocks the conscience. You don't have this in Europe or anywhere else but besides America. And there are exceptions to the rule, but they rarely happen outside this country.
Yeah, I'm sick of hearing people cherry pick different legislative initiatives and say, well, that would not have stopped this particular incident, or that would not have prevented this thing from happening. Well, let's have every element. Let's have more background checks, more difficult job to get a gun. All of those elements bring that together. Try to change the culture and society that we live in a little bit. I mean, those are real big challenges that we've got to face. But like you said, we feel like we are being held up with things that seem like they could be simple initiatives and solutions. Romeo, is this something that was a topic of discussion in any of your classes here at Trenton Central?
See, that's a good question. Actually, yesterday, me and my third block class, we were talking a little bit about the situation that went on with Texas. I'm sorry for all those who are out there and suffering, especially those families out there and their parents. I can only imagine how bad they must feel, because I have a sister of my own that's their age, and if that happened to me, I would feel, I don't know what I would do, honestly. I'd feel so bad. And what we were talking about is as you would say, the background checks. They don't really do much. All they really do is, they advertise it a lot. Oh, they give out deals and stuff on newspaper and things, and they don't really check the history about the people. And we were also talking about because these firearms, they get more and more lethal through the day. Why allow people to get such stronger firearms instead of having a regular pistol or anything? So just in case, for those who have the right to bear arms, those who feel as though they need to be protected, and again, I feel very horrible having to hear this information, because I woke up one day and I seen a message on my phone about what happened. Now, if I was to wake up one day and hear from my mom saying that, oh, this is what happened at my sister's school, I'd be so heartbroken.
It is a heartbreaking situation, and you bring up another good point where why do we have weapons that can fire automatically and kill so many people, get off so many bullets? And I'm not a firearms expert by any means, but that seems like another common sense kind of thing. Like, let's get the guns that can fire a whole lot of bullets in a short amount of time. Let's get them out of circulation. And the other thing that has come up is that the shooter in the Texas incident was an 18-year-old.
Yes.
And that if there was some type of
age limit.
Yeah, like
you can't drink alcohol
right,
until you're 21,
right.
But you could still buy an AR-15, which is absurd. And then you have states such as Pennsylvania, which are right over the bridge, have really lax gun laws. They have gun shows, and guns, particularly when they're used illegally in the city of Trenton, the majority of them come from Pennsylvania.
What types of legislative initiatives are in the New Jersey pipeline should be being considered that are not being considered?
Well, it's hard to make those limitations in New Jersey when you could literally just go across the bridge. This really has to be a federal discussion, and I think that we have to get some commonality or some resolution that unless we're having sensible gun control throughout the land, you're still going to have the flood of guns and bullets. Certainly 18-year-olds, no offense, should not be carrying assault weapons, and they could easily raise the age. But also I think parents have to step up to the plate themselves. The parent in Sandy Hook supplied the guns to her son, who then used them in the classroom. And if there's mental issues, the last thing you want to do is give a child a gun. That's not the way to get some sense of normalcy, but to exacerbate the condition of your mental illness.
And as I said, I'm in favor of any common sense legislative initiatives that are going to go to solve the problem. But my concern is that when these laws are passed, they are often successfully challenged because the gun is protected, it's underpinned by the Constitution. And I want to dream big and say maybe we should think about repealing the Second Amendment to the Constitution. I mean, that's a big meatball out there,
Yep.
But we have seen gay marriage, a black president, legal weed, other things that we thought maybe would never happen in America. So why not dream big and say, hey, we could potentially change our relationship with firearms, but it requires, I think, America to go in and change the language of the Second Amendment.
Yeah. And also it takes different thinking from the Supreme Court. The Heller decision that was in recent memory is the one that expanded the access to guns. So it could be a different thinking mentality on the Supreme Court, particularly when you have a conservative court that professes to be pro-life and then just says, oh, well, when a child gets slaughtered by a gun, and in this instance, 19 of them, we seem to have that horror and then back to normalcy until the next incident that happens.
And I guess, unfortunately, Mayor, I do not put a lot of confidence in the current makeup of the Supreme Court that any of those legislative efforts are going to be sustained when they come to a challenge. And so that's why I want to put the power back to the people. I mean, the American people have the ability to change the Constitution, and we've heard some different statistics about how popular some of these gun legislation, the background checks are supported by 90% of Americans. Well, if we could somehow change the language in the Second Amendment and still allow gun ownership for responsible people, but make it as difficult as it is to to drive a car. You need to get a license. You need to be of a certain age. You need to be a responsible person. You have to follow the rules.
And that's all permissible under the Second Amendment. It's ironic that Texas, in the last 10 years, has loosened gun restriction and made it easier for access and right to carry, to go. We see these pictures of people entering the Walmart with a machine gun on the back of them.
I mean,
it's gotten to be so absurd that we really have to we have to rethink the collective thinking of Americans, and just hope that this incident, when 19 children were cut down, that America really has that conversation with itself.
See, that's the thing about the right to bear arms. In my opinion, there should be at least some sort of restriction of being able to, carry on you. As you would say, the assault rifles and stuff, that should be restricted, because there's policemen out there that don't even carry that much on them.
Mm-hmm.
At most, they carry a pistol, and most of the time they're not using it, because they always think of not hurting the person, for make sure that they're okay before proceeding into anything more violent. So if anything, I feel as though there should be some sort of restrictions on, or probably some sort of what you're eligible in holding on you, then they're being cut out completely, because people really, the amendment's really used for you to protect yourself in case if you were in any harm. And some people abuse that, and they do what they want to do, and they do whatever they feel as though is right, and it is possibly is not right at the moment. But like I said, they should restrict certain firearms, certain anything in that ability to make things more accessible and workable. And I agree with the age limit type of thing. That kid was young. He was my age, and sometimes we don't make the greatest decisions. We should have that age restriction, because you should have the time to get a license and at least train how to use one in the correct form, instead of being able to buy one on the spot and then being able to hold it with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and gun ownership for many Americans is a patriotic act. I'm wondering, Renee, if you think that amongst younger people, that a move to change our relationship with guns would pick up more momentum. That it's that maybe that is something that younger voters can actually change the paradigm, because it is, right now not really feasible to have a constitutional amendment around guns. The popularity is not there, but I just think if the idea can grow, you never know what can take hold with young people and people of all ages.
Yeah, I think, and especially if people are victims, like their family are victims of gun violence, and have been involved in gang guns or anything like that, they will definitely want to have that awareness to know that this is something that needs to be dealt with. I feel like most of us wouldn't have an issue with that age restriction, because as you were talking about earlier, if you have to be 21 to drink, 18 to get a gun, that's not right, because that's something that could take a life. So yeah.
Well, we start with a pretty heavy topic on Trenton today. We are going to talk about some end of year stuff for the Trenton Central High School students. Romeo, you were telling us you guys just had a pretty good time at the prom.
Yeah, our prom was in Cinnaminson? I don't know which one
Cinnaminson.
it's pronounced. Cinnaminson. There you go.
Yeah.
It was
Burlington
at the
County.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was at the Marriott. It was so beautiful. Oh man, I had a blast. And
That's great.
Thank you, Renee, for you and your team for setting it up. You guys are so amazing. And just to say, you looked great in your dress that day as well.
Thank you. You did too.
And do you select a prom king and queen?
We all voted, so they were. It was really beautiful. There was a couple that sang to each other, so that was nice to see. It was very nice. seeing like how our kids look
Oh man, how corny.
when we're all dressed up. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And you were on the prom committee, Renee?
I'm senior class vice president, so we orchestrate like prom, senior trip, everything like that.
All right, we're going to get into another pretty heavy topic when we return in just a little bit. We want to talk about fentanyl in the city of Trenton and the dangers that it presents when we return, and also get into some more fun stuff. Talk about what we're doing in the summer, our summer plans. I know I always go camping. I don't think we have our reservations made yet, but head to the shore every once in a while. But we'll hear from Mayor Gusciora, from Romeo, and Renee what they have planned, also about the summer camps and summer fun, the public pools here in Trenton when we return to Trenton Today in just a bit.
Family at the center of exceptional care. Welcome to the capital of neurosciences at Capitol Health. The human brain and spine are very complex, and treating them requires a hospital that offers a combination of technology and specialists that are united by a single defining purpose, putting you and your family at the center of exceptional care. From brain tumors and spinal disease to strokes and aneurysms, if it involves the brain and spine, there's only one Capitol Institute for Neurosciences, and it's at Capitol Health. To learn more, visit capitolneuro.org. That's capitolneuro.org.
Are you a parrot head?
Wasted away again in Margarita.
Not that kind. That's more like it. If you're this kind of parrot head, don't forget to check out the Denny O Polka Show every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon right here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
WBCB is now on your FM dial at 107.3. Serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since 1958, you can now listen to all of your BCB favorites crystal clear on 107.3 FM. A new age for WBCB on a new frequency, 107.3.
Hey, this is Jonesy. Kick off your Thursday and Friday evenings in style. Join me for an eclectic freeform mix of the hits and beyond. It's a happening, a musical journey. It's the Glenn Jones Radio Experience, right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, Thursday and Friday, 5 to 6 p.m., directly following the legendary Jerry Blavitt. Radio, the way it ought to be.
All right, we're back here at Trenton Central High School for Trenton Today, hanging out with Mayor Gusciora, a couple of Trenton Central High School students, having a good old time, talking about end-of-year activities.
Wrapping it up for the year.
Yeah, this is going to be our last show here at Trenton Central. You guys graduate on June 16th, Renee.
Yes,
Looking forward to that. Where is that going to be here?
No, it will be at the Cure Arena.
Nice. That sounds awesome. And as vice president, are you putting together the graduation ceremonies, or they take care of that stuff for you?
So it's like a mix. So we like put out stuff recently to say like if there's any seniors interested in decorating the graduation ceremony booklet thing. I can't think of the program. Yeah. We would send that out to be like, if you're interested to design it, then you could reach out to Mr. Francis, who like deals with doing that. So we still have our seniors involved, but our teachers are helping us out majorly.
Well, I might go camping up the mountains and have a good time at the shore. But you were telling us before we got going here for Trenton Today, Renee, that you've got some plans where you're going to have an internship down in New Orleans and some other stuff going on.
It's a scholarship convention. It's called the NFB Scholarship. So it's where blind and visually impaired people gather. The major place where people gather. So I have that, and then I volunteer at a blind and visually impaired camp for 2 weeks for kids 5 to 11.
I can keep you busy, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Is that the field you want to get into?
I love children, so I do want to do psychology. So still have like counsel children, but at the same time, I still want to have something to do with them.
Oh, great. Yeah. I had a blind intern one summer, and he was really smart, and but it was interesting challenges that he had, but he's done really well for himself.
How long have you volunteered at that camp?
This year will be my first year, actually.
Well, good luck with that experience. Sounds like it's going to be really enriching, a great summer for you. Romeo, after graduation, you were telling us you're getting ready to go to college, and so your summer plans involve kind of those preparations.
My summer plans involve me moving out into Connecticut. Connecticut is where my college is going to be. I'm going to be going to a community college out there for 2 years, and then I'm going to transfer out to a university. The college I'm going to be going out there is Gateway.
Excellent.
Gateway is in New Haven. And for a little bit of summer plans, it's mostly going to be me having to transfer my stuff over there and probably hit up the shore from time to time. I got a lot of family out there who can't wait to see me.
That's great. Anything in particular that you're focusing your studies on?
I am a really big person in marine biology. So having being a major in biology is something that I'm really going to focus on and put all my time and work into. I have a lot of sorry about that. I have a lot of things that I want to do in the future, but that's just a main goal that I'm going to focus on for this period of time.
That's a challenging field. Good luck in your as you go up to New Haven. Mayor Gusciora, how about for you? Any summer plans?
No, this is an election year for me, so I'll be close to the home this summer. But
Be working the streets.
I just actually came from the island of New Jersey in the British Channel.
The what now?
Isle of Jersey.
Okay.
That's our namesake.
Right.
Is Jersey, and
It's one of the British Isles?
it's one of the British Channel Islands, and
Okay.
they were celebrating the 75th anniversary of the liberation of German occupation of the island.
Awesome. So you were there kind of as a VIP guest? And
We have a sister city relationship with St. Helier, which is the capital of Jersey, and just has a really interesting history. When King Charles I was beheaded, his son fled to Jersey.
was that last year?
No, that was a few back in the 1500s. And when his son was restored to the crown, he was so grateful that he gave the governor of Jersey, who was Lord Carteret, the land tract for Jersey. And Lord Carteret's wife was Elizabeth. So New Jersey has Carteret and Elizabeth.
They do a favor, and you never know what kind of benefits might come out of it.
So if the king ever comes, hide him out and make sure that that's the one that's restored to the crown. But it was a great experience, and it was a really beautiful island.
Speaking of being a VIP and cutting ribbons and stuff, I saw a picture of you cutting the ribbon at the Jennings Village.
Yes.
Brand new housing, public housing in Trenton, and named after a civil rights activist that was connected to Dr. Martin Luther King. Tell us a little bit more about how all that came together. And it seemed like it required some money from the city to make that happen.
Absolutely. We have plenty of land that we need to develop. We matched up with a developer who was interested in bringing in affordable housing, and by virtue of it being affordable housing, he's entitled to government grants and the like. But the city of Trenton put up $800,000 to help the project work, and lo and behold, after 2 years, we have a 72-unit, beautiful apartment house, and already 4 homeless veterans have been placed there. So it's a great opportunity. There's not enough solid housing for Trentonians, and this was one option to make it work.
Is there like a backlog of applications that they're going to be processing, like a waiting list for people in Trenton looking for these kind of housing opportunities?
Yeah, and we're also trying to rehab a lot of the abandoned houses that the city will rehab and then give to families that can maintain them and qualify for them. So we're doing a lot of things just to try to provide adequate housing for our residents.
Mayor, you wanted to bring up a topic. You saw an article in the New York Times about fentanyl and its dangers, how it is being trafficked, and the ways the different ways that people might not think that fentanyl could be in the things that they are purchasing, or the
Yeah, the next generation is always smarter than us, and I know that a lot of the students are crafty, but they sometimes make mistakes. There's an illicit drug trade on Snapchat or other social media outlets.
Oh, geez.
By talking in code, but the focus of this article was that kids were buying Percocets, but they were laced with fentanyl, which is quite deadly, and there's more and more overdoses because of that. And in the city of Trenton, we also have a fentanyl problem. From time to time, we have addicts that overdose, and the city of Trenton then has to take care of. But it's a big social problem that we're trying to work with. We're adding mental health counselors to our health department to go out, particularly to work with the homeless. And when our police make arrests, we no longer just put them in a jail cell. If they have drug treatment needs, we try to match them up and try to help them as best we can. But there's just so much dangerous designer drugs out there that not only the students should be aware of, but just the public at large. I don't know if you're taught about the warnings of the drugs that are out there. It's not the type of recreational drugs that we had when we were in high school that you can grow in the backyard.
Well, I think
A lot of people are looking at their shoes in the
I think
background.
there have been some reports, I think, where there have even been some marijuana that has been laced with fentanyl. So that also can have some dangers, and it can be deadly in extremely small amounts. So it is something that's scary. And when you talk about social media connections and being the dad of a 15-year-old, I'm not sure how much parents are really able to police their kids' social media accounts and platforms. Romeo, what? I mean, I think if I looked at your phone or a device or a laptop that you interact on, I'm probably not going to be savvy enough to really know what you're looking at or what you're seeing. You think that's a fair statement? I mean, you don't know me all that well and my computer knowledge or whatever, but I think it's like a generational thing.
Yeah.
Like parents, they're not acclimated to all this stuff.
I can tell you this now. my phone is really dry. Don't even worry about it. You
Good.
would not find no one texting me because, well, I keep it on silent, as you can see, most of the time. But I can see what you're saying, though, when it comes down to the kids and, the trading from online. Most parents aren't aware of, like, the social media, how big it is. Tons and tons of people to this day are joining social media accounts or creating new accounts, and they're not aware of like how easy it is to speak to someone without even having to like meet them.
Right.
And for people to be doing these things, if anything, it should be illegal. You shouldn't be like being able to trade, like not trade, sell things such as fentanyl or whatever online, because if anything, those can kill people.
And it is illegal to make those transactions, but it's being done in a clandestine way that is not apparent to law enforcement and is getting past parents and guardians and stuff. Renee, do you think as a dad that I should look at my daughter's phone and see what she's doing? Now,
I think yes, she'll hate it, but I think it's good to just like her being understanding that, seeing the point where you came from, point where you're coming from,
Yeah.
to say like I'm really concerned, because social media is very dangerous, because like the toxicity that it puts out there, like there's a good aspect of it, because you do have like motivation people that do like try to spread positivity, but then there's the negativity that you also have to be careful of, that it's really harming our generation
Right.
when you look at it.
And there are dealers that are targeting social media through the hashtags. That, for instance, if somebody's talking about a celebrity that died of an overdose or is associated with that drug, through the hashtag, then a dealer can contact that person and say, hey, I could fix you up.
Right.
So there's a concern of kids getting targeted through their social media platforms.
Do you guys think kids are targeted outside of fentanyl or drug-related stuff to have relationships with people that they don't know on social media?
Yes, definitely. Because it's so easy to get in contact with a person.
Yeah.
All you simply have to do is send a message. It's very easy. So I feel like especially kids 13, 14 are very, very targeted because they're so vulnerable and they're very naive and they don't know the world yet. They're easy to be like, oh, let me manipulate them into thinking this or whatever. So it's very easy to target them.
It's tough to check up on that stuff.
Right.
You know, when my daughter will show me something, I've asked her, you know, what are you looking at on TikTok? And she'll say, oh, this stuff, it is motivational. You know, there is a lot of positive stuff out there. And I think you can craft your TikTok feed or your Instagram to be positive or negative, and you attract the kind of energy that you put out there. But there's still elements that you don't know about, and you think it seems like a positive interaction, but it can go south.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important for adults to have these conversations with the younger generation, so that they know the warning signs and they know not to take a person at their full value because of the cons that are out there, and so it is unfortunate.
Well, and raising just a little bit of awareness about this issue here today on Trenton Today on WBCB. We're joined by Mayor Gusciora once a month, taking on all different issues when it comes to Trenton. And I still think we have not gotten to the camps and the fun stuff and the public pools and all the good things that are happening in the summertime to keep people engaged and having a good time. So we'll be back to talk about that stuff when we return in just a little bit.
Capital Health's primary care network continues to grow, bringing its extensive option of locations to your neighborhood. Whether you're scheduling a wellness checkup or not feeling well, advanced medicine starts with a Capital Health primary care doctor at locations near you in Mercer, Bucks, and Burlington counties. To find a Capital Health primary care location that's convenient for you, visit capitalmedicalgroup.org. That's capitalmedicalgroup.org. The Salvation Army of Greater Trenton and Mercer County is looking for volunteers to help give back to the community. From advisory board members to volunteering with one of their many programs, like their mobile feeding programs. Volunteers are critical partners in helping the Salvation Army fulfill their promise of doing the most good. For more information on how you can help the Salvation Army of Greater Trenton, call their offices at 609-599-9373. That's 609-599-9373. Or visit their website at salvationarmynj.org or Facebook page at Salvation Army Trenton Citadel.
Opinions matter, and so does yours. Hi, I'm Joe Fabrizi, inviting you to join us every Monday at 1 p.m. for Opinions Matter, right here on 1490 AM WBCB. Opinions Matter is now live streamed at WBCB1490.com. We want to hear from you because your opinion does matter.
Hi, this is Mayor Jeff Martin of Hamilton Township, inviting you to tune in to our monthly radio show, This Month in Hamilton. Video stream live the fourth Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. at WBCB1490.com. We will be featuring various guests from Hamilton Township to keep you up to date on what's going on in Hamilton.
All right, back with you on Trenton Today, here from Trenton Central High School, hanging out with Mayor Reed Gusciora, Romeo Romo, Renee Hemmings, and talking about what's going on in Trenton, the capital city of the Garden State. COVID is not over, and it seems like there's another surge that is happening right now. We heard last time we were together about some of the positive things, how Trenton was really on the the front end of the vaccinations, and you guys have done a good job protecting the citizens of Trenton. But another reminder, I think, is in order that we still have to be careful, have some social distancing,
Well,
get tested.
This is the fourth wave of COVID, and 100 years ago with the influenza, the fourth wave was the most deadliest because, one, we're all sick of the masks
Right.
and the isolation, and this happened 100 years ago where you let your guard down, and then it becomes the most deadliest. So,
Right.
People have to still take precautions. We're not out of the woods yet. And hopefully that COVID itself will go down to the point where, you know, just like the flu, you'll need a yearly vaccine.
Right. And it's going up and down, and right now it seems like up again. So make sure to take care, and might be time to think about wearing a mask again in public spaces to protect yourself and protect others. But, you know, some common sense is...
City Hall is going to move back to having masks and social distancing, and the state is going to be doing some remote working, and so it's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in.
So so you mentioning about the remote, you think that at some point it's gonna get really bad to where we're all gonna have to go back to like remote either learning or working?
The short answer is we don't know, but we hope not, and we'll just have to see what kind of spread it is with this fourth wave.
I don't foresee that happening. Just one of the elements that was in place when everything was shut down was that we didn't have any vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
There were very few treatments that were out that were effective to help people. Now those things have changed,
Mm-hmm.
and as long as the vaccine remains effective, and these different variations don't get people sicker or those types of things. So, as you said, Mayor, who knows? But
And the isolation itself has taken a toll on society, both in working and mental health issues and the like. So that is the last resort, but we can't rule it out. We hope we can. But I think excellent point is that there are now vaccines and there are now better treatments. So we hope that we've seen the last of complete isolation and quarantining of ourselves.
one issue that's come up a couple of times on some WBCB talk shows is the New Jersey gas tax and its connection right now to the severe inflation that we're experiencing. And I'm wondering if there are any serious legislative efforts to suspend the gas tax for some time, if you have the power within the Trenton area to do something like that, or how those types of things break down.
I would if I could, but it's still the decision of the legislature. I know there are proposals to give a short time of a gas tax holiday. I just filled my tank up. It cost $50, and it didn't fill up the tank. So
I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
So anyway, I'm all for it, but that's still a decision that has to be made by the state legislature.
I mean, what kind of relief would people get from a gas tax holiday? I don't know, with the price of
we're in the
at
high
the gallon, it's
high 20 cents. So
okay.
That would create a dent in the cost of gasoline, but I doubt that it would go to zero, the gas tax. So, it would, but it would still offer relief. I mean, a lot of people are still out of work. A lot of people are unsure of what their future is going to be. We have a whole graduating class that is searching for jobs, and internships are don't pay well. So
right. Well,
right, Renee.
Last time we were together, you did mention that there's an internship at the mayor's office.
Yes. We take in high school and college students, but the city hopes to employ 300 young people between the ages of 14 and 18. So they should come to City Hall if they're interested in a job.
What kinds of things? Camp counselors,
Camp counselors,
lifeguards?
cleaning up the parks, public works jobs.
It's a lot of community things, would you say?
Yeah, and so it's the first step to getting city employment. So it's a good deal that we offer.
Sounds like a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah, I think we're around $15 an hour, so it's something to pay the bills a little bit.
Yeah.
You see, a lot of people that I know became lifeguards, and they like passed the lifeguard test and things. And it's getting really hot. Like lately, it's been like in the high 90s, and it's been pretty dry outside. You know, they have me outside for gym class and playing tennis, and it's really hot. But you see, I think having to join something like that would be a lot of fun, especially during the summer.
Yeah.
And helping out the community as well.
Right.
I think that's a pretty good thing, especially for us. Is to show our appreciation for you guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And definitely giving kids those opportunities at such a young age definitely opens them up to more work experience and be more involved in the community. So that's good.
Yeah. And then we're going to have basketball camps and
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Who loves basketball?
yeah. And so we have some really good people. We have Lakeisha Sutton, who's formerly of the Harlem Globetrotters, graduate of Trenton, and now she's giving back to the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is great.
Well, with these temperatures rising, when do we get to jump in the pool? Is there a timeline for the Trenton public pools?
Yeah, they'll be open by July, and stay tuned. We still fix them up. We have some world-class pools. We're still doing some work on Hetzel Pool for parking because that's become so popular. But that would be a good site for the show at Hetzel Pool.
That'd
See
be
our
awesome.
world-class
Cannonball.
They won an award for design, and so we're pretty happy with the results of it.
I have a question when it comes down, not to touch back at the COVID topic, but like, people in pool, they're all, they're in the pool, they're all close to each other. How is this going to work if, the COVID is starting to rise again?
It is difficult because you don't want to swim with a mask either. That makes it even more difficult. But hopefully when you're outside, you have less chance of catching COVID, as long as you maintain some kind of distance. But indoors particularly is the worst. But outdoors, it's hopeful that with aeration, the transmission is lowered.
Do I have to bring like my vaccination card with me where I go and be like, hey, I'm vaccinated?
That would be a good idea to get a date, just have a vaccine card. But it always helps, in Philadelphia, I think they started requiring vaccination cards again to go into restaurants. And it is good to keep up on your vaccines and get those boosters. And that's the best way to fend from catching COVID or having the real bad repercussions.
One thing that's happening here on Trenton Central's campus today, their spring concert, which we talked about
Tonight.
last time we were together, they got the grand piano in the auditorium.
Yeah, 6 p.m. is their spring concert. So grand piano was donated by Rider University, and the Rider University president, DeLomo, is going to be here tonight. So we're going to welcome him, and we have 3 students that are going to play the piano, and also the high school orchestra will be performing as well.
That's going to be great.
So it will be a great show. So come out, 6 p.m., open to the public.
Our orchestra is really talented. That's one thing I commend for them.
Yeah, I love our orchestra.
Yeah.
I know mostly all of them, and I love all of them. They're so great when they work together as well, and they practice so
Right.
much.
They
They
work
put
hard.
all they're all into it. They put so much time into it, and I know they won't be doing it unless they didn't love it.
Yeah.
And they love this thing.
That auditorium is beautiful, too.
Yes. So the state did well. It's a beautiful facility. And also, over the summer, we're going to be putting in a turf field at the football field. And so that will be the
Nice.
last finishing touch on the high school.
That's great.
From a $150 million project, but the city of Trenton is purchasing a turf field. So we're excited about that.
Well, talk about the auditorium and what a great venue it is. The Trenton Central Tornadoes, the vibe I get when they're on the football field, I don't know, it's a great community energy and feeling here in the stands. And can't wait for the players to be able to enjoy the turf field to play on and enjoy. All right, well, we're going to step aside one final time, return with just a little bit more. You were saying that you want to talk about Princeton Hydro and something about a commercial block. It went right over my head, but we'll talk about that when we return to Trenton Today in just a bit.
All right.
Welcome to the capital of neurosciences at Capitol Health. The human brain and spine are very complex, and treating them requires a hospital that offers a combination of technology and specialists that are united by a single defining purpose, putting you and your family at the center of exceptional care. From brain tumors and spinal disease to strokes and aneurysms, if it involves the brain and spine, there's only one Capitol Institute for Neurosciences, and it's at Capitol Health. To learn more, visit capitalneuro.org. That's capitalneuro.org.
Hi, this is Mayor Jeff Martin of Hamilton Township, inviting you to tune in to our monthly radio show, This Month in Hamilton. Video stream live the fourth Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. at WBCB1490.com. We will be featuring various guests from Hamilton Township to keep you up to date on what's going on in Hamilton.
Are you a parrot head?
Wasted away again in Margarita.
Not that kind. That's more like it. If you're this kind of parrot head, don't forget to check out the Denny-O Polka Show every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon right here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
WBCB is now on your FM dial at 107.3. Serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since 1958, you can now listen to all of your BCB favorites crystal clear on 107.3 FM. A new age for WBCB on a new frequency, 107.3.
All right, back with Trenton Today here from Trenton Central High School. So, Mayor Gusciora, tell us about Commercial Block 3 and Princeton Hydro. What is Commercial Block 3? There's a number of different commercial blocks within the city of Trenton.
Yeah, the Roebling factories all were comprised in 3 blocks, and the city owns Block 2, and right now 5 developers have put the pitch that they want to redevelop Roebling Block 2. In the meantime, Roebling Block 3 has Roebling lofts, which are market rate apartments, but the outlying buildings they're now rehabbing, and the first one is done, and a water engineering firm, Princeton Hydro, moved to Trenton.
That's great.
And they're a 40-person firm, and they wish to expand in the capital city, so they've already contacted the high school about internships themselves. But it's a great way for future engineering students to get internships there and learn about engineering and perhaps get a job after they get out of school.
So with the other commercial block, is the city of Trenton taking bids from those different proposals, seeing which one works best for us or for Trenton?
Absolutely. We're looking for mixed use, which would be residential plus light industrial or commercial. There's actually even a theater in Roebling Block 2 that we would love to renovate, and that would be used for community events. So anyway, there's a lot of excitement and a lot of, we hope that Princeton Hydro is the first domino in Roebling Block 3, and now more and more will attract more and more companies to come in.
A little economic development for the city of Trenton.
Yeah.
I saw it was like a creek cleanup happening. I think it was at Hetzel Park.
George Page Park, yes.
And I think people don't consider the ecological resources that are within the city of Trenton, whether it's the Delaware River or the creek. But it was great to see the community coming out to have this cleanup. And it seems like this is an event, if I read the report correctly, that was a festival this year, had been a kind of an annual cleanup thing. But this year they had some music and kind of making it a big deal.
Yeah, the best was that it was sponsored by the Watershed Institute, and they came down and they gave tours, interpretive tours, particularly for the young kids, to really appreciate water, which you appreciate, and give tours of the canal, but the Esping Creek, but also help clean up the creek itself. So this was an annual event, and I forgot how many pounds of garbage, but it was quite a lot that they were able to take up.
Pretty cool to see everybody come out helping to clean up the environment here in the city of Trenton. So Romeo, you seem pretty pumped up about the basketball leagues this summer. Have you participated in the past in those summer leagues?
In the past, I participated in some of the summer camps that it was in. There was one for I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to remember the name. This is like my freshman year, but it was basically for Trenton. It was like we'd practice every day in the hot summer weather, but we'd also had a blast just hanging out with each other, meeting new people and meeting up and coming like freshmen who are who's been playing basketball their whole life. And the coaches were amazing. They made sure that all of us, we were having a great time, and even though we played games and stuff, they were making sure that in the end we were having fun. So I can't wait for these up and coming camps to come out. I love basketball. I watch the games almost every day and watch the highlights almost every day, and I also play the sport a lot as well.
That's great.
Renee, you mentioned that you don't play sports here at Trenton Central, but what kind of camp activities would appeal to you?
Taking care of kids. I love kids, so definitely being something like a camp counselor or something like that. Just like being able to communicate with them would really warm my heart.
I can send you over my sister.
Listen, I got you.
Well, we're hiring between the ages of 14 and 18, and we're providing 300 summer jobs.
One of the camps that my daughter went to years ago was to get certified as a babysitter. What types of offerings are going to be out there for the Trenton? I imagine some art opportunities for young people.
All kinds of things, all activities. And the police themselves are about to open up a after-school safe haven for kids that will include art and electronics and all kinds of things. So stay tuned for that as well.
All right, we'll do. Well, thanks so much to Renee and to Romeo for joining us here from Trenton Central High School. Give you guys an opportunity to shout out your loved ones or have a message for those that are with us.
I would love to say shout out to Nellie. Nellie, she couldn't make it here today. She was she was feeling a little bit down a little bit, but if she did, I know she would have made this even better. Yeah. She loves doing these things with us, and she's our great friend. And I would love to say shout out to Nellie. Love you, Nellie.
I'll shout out
Nellie.
Mr. Francis and Mr. Coniglio here.
Yes,
always
them
doing a
too.
great job helping to get us hooked up.
Yeah.
And a shout out to Mayor Gusciora for being with us again. Yeah. We got to figure out what we're doing next month. We've had the last 3 Trenton Today shows here from Trenton Central High School, and it's been great. I don't know what.
And we hope to pick back up in fall.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll be back here in September, but next month we have a show scheduled, but where it's going to be, we're not sure. The mayor's office, maybe. We were talking about the Princeton
Hydro itself.
Princeton Hydro, yeah.
Or probably the new police PAL building, which we could show off as well.
Renee wants to have us broadcast live from the pool.
That would be a good. That would be a good
Absolutely,
idea.
yeah. There's plenty of kids for you.
Well, we'll put it together and be back next month as we get together each month here on WBCB to talk about what's up in Trenton, New Jersey. Again, thanks to Mayor Gusciora and to Renee and to Romeo. Thanks to
Good
Brian
luck to you
O'Neill as
guys.
well. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys for having us. This is actually a really big deal for us. We don't really do these podcasts with any other people besides the people that we work around. That and our friends from Johnson & Johnson.
Yes.
But we really appreciate you guys for having us here, and appreciate you, Mayor, for being here with us as well. And we actually love you guys. This is
Yeah.
great.
Thanks for making our senior year one to remember.
Yes. I talk about you guys all the time. I feel like I'll be talking to my mom and be like, hey, I got this podcast I got to do with the mayor and stuff. She's like, oh, really? That's cool. What are you guys going to be talking about? And I was like, all sorts of things,
Tune in.
Yeah. Why don't you come in and listen,
Yeah.
Well, it's been our pleasure. Thank you. And we'll do it again. Trenton Today next month back here on WBCB. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.